Good morning, my fellow yogic travelers. I'm mighty glad to be alive today, and I hope that you are too as we continue to live, laugh, love, learn, linger, and live the life we love. Well, it's Friday, so it's my PowerPoint day. This is the kind of stuff I used to project on the walls of the yoga circle when I was in my presentation literacy. But as I like to say, my students always said, why don't you go on TED Talks? I said, I could never keep it down to 18 minutes. So this is interesting. I try to do this under 10. All right, Buddha, start with this. It's called sacred space. The mind is everything. We become what we think. What we think we become. His first statement from the Dhammapada. We are what we think, having become what we thought. As the cart follows the ox that pulls it, so does happiness follow good thinking. We are what we think, having become what we thought. As a shadow faithfully tails a person, so does unhappiness follow poor thinking. We are what we think, having become what we thought. So, cultivate your thoughts. Now, storytelling is very important. We all have a narrative, and it reminds us of the story of the secretary that told the rabbi there were two visitors. One was an entertainer, a raconteur, and the other one was a Torah scholar. So he asked the rabbi, should I let the Torah scholar in first? He said, no, let the storyteller come in first, and then we'll see the rabbi. And so after they visited the rabbi, the secretary was still not understanding. How come he didn't give honor to the Torah scholar first, and then the entertainer second? The rabbi said, well, it's simple. In the beginning, there was no Torah. The first part is just God, the greatest storyteller, telling stories. Then, after the Torah was given, then the scholarly aspect happened. So that's why I honored the storyteller first and the Torah scholar second. So sacred space, what does it mean to find that place of centering, creativity, regeneration? No, you have to balance all the elements in your life to understand what that means and to have a definition of what's sacred versus what's profanum, outside of the temple. Well, Mircea Eliade was one of the best people in helping to define what this is. It says, man becomes aware of the sacred because it manifests itself, it shows itself as something wholly different than the profane. In his encounters with the sacred, man experiences a reality that does not belong to our world, and yet is encountered in and through objects or events that are part of the world. Because if you don't find sacred space, you're left with what I call the locus of disintegration, mere temporal time. And that's where destruction and chaos is, not regeneration or immortality. So you have to understand most religions give liturgy that's just persona restoring, so you can go back to the same old. They don't really give you the transcendent, transformative aspect. Very few religious traditions help to inculcate and provide avenues through which a person can experience what I call mystic inebriation. But even Disney knows that you can take any ethnicity and turn it into a hero's journey where you have to separate yourself from what you know, face some kind of ordeal, and then return with the gift to your people, like Moana. I can't wait to see Moana too. So how do we understand this quote from Sam Keen? Myth is the system of basic metaphors, images, and stories that informs the perceptions, memories, and aspirations of a people, provides the rationale for its institutions, rituals, and power structure, and gives a map and purpose for the stages of life. Yeah, but you got to remember, myth is not to be understood literally or even historically. It's artful arrangements of lies that tell the truth. Totally false on the outside, completely true on the inside. What does it mean to be a disciple versus a student? A disciple, on the other hand, is a student who has a goal of becoming like the teacher. This model requires personal interaction and a profound commitment to the teacher, mentor, or spiritual parent on behalf of the apprentice or learner. So the bottom line is a student wants to know what the teacher knows, a disciple wants to become like the teacher. All disciples are students, but not all students are disciples. The essence of everything is to make well-being the dominant vibration in your life. Incline your mind to well-being, says the Buddha, even if everybody else around you is just a sourpuss. That's one of the 9 states that don't serve in yoga, Dharmasya, sourpussness, sour-mindedness. I'm sure you know people like that, and sometimes even get into that funk yourself. Well, remember, teachers come in different gradations. The good teacher that says it well, the excellent teacher that says it well and demonstrates it well, the great teacher that says it well, demonstrates it well, and can correct you, and then the master teacher that inspires love for the discipline to make you a lifer. We have to break old patterns of parochial thought. I'm glad that the future is feminine. Females, you got to help. We're going to help you. Conscious males, the mature males, the masculine energy that is not immature, we're there to help you. Thomas Merton is a great example of a Christian mystic who spoke out in Vietnam, embraced Zen Buddhism, and still maintained his Christian connection. But he did it not in defiance of, but in addition to his being committed to the Trappist monk tradition. If we're going to really see what's sacred, we have to get over xenophobia and fear of the other person. It's called pseudo-speciation, the inability to see what's human in another person. When you get inflated, as all the three religions of the people of the book have shown through history, they can demonize other people. It's been portrayed in texts, in pictures, popularized in images, and this leads to a cognitive dissonance. It's easier to see people as savages and dehumanize them, and then they become our enemies instead of our brothers and sisters. So here's an example of how malignant tribalism kills. Read between the lines. Quicken your imagination. Can you still believe there are people, even though now this is like 60, 70 years ago, that don't believe that the Holocaust happened at all? The deniers. It's not just about the Holocaust, it's about so many other things. This is one of the ways that we demonize other people. But what we have to learn to do in yoga initially is do the poses, but one of my teachers used to say, level 2 is like level 1, except you got to relax your senses and the soft tissue in every single pose. So even in our daily life, when we're not doing yoga, do you hold a toothbrush, and brush like crazy? Relax in everything you do. Don't grip the steering wheel. Don't harden yourself, but learn to be in a relaxed mode, even as you go through your daily life. Remember, yoga is about the universality of the human condition, so you could say its myth is global in scope. There's no difference between East and West from the yogic mind. That's a division that's made by consciousness, by thought, but not in reality. So, what's your home? Earth. What's your family? Humankind. Anything less than that, doomed to extinction as far as I'm concerned. So, are you living the truth? You're following your bliss? Or you're lost in the wasteland of inauthenticity, doing what you're told to do, supposed to do? But all of us have an opportunity and a responsibility to bring into life that which is going to change the wasteland into something that's verdant, green, beneficial to all, minimizing the amount of pain and suffering while maximizing the benefits. So, as I learned in therapy, it's not the emotion that's tough to deal with, it's the resistance to the emotion. So as my therapist said, instead of resisting any emotion, the best way to dispel it is to enter it fully, embrace it, and see through your resistance to it. So it's debilitating, but it's not negative in and of itself. It's how you spin it, the story you tell yourself. Because if you don't see it clearly, you see it through a glass darkly, and then your perception is distorted. And once you accept the idea that it's a modern perception, that we have no shadow dynamics, that our perceptions of everything, we call it the miraculous perception, right? I can't be wrong. There's nothing that anyone could tell me to make me see it differently. That's how those thought forms live in the shadow and don't serve us. So I still believe that it's important to have intergenerational connection. To think that elders are not needed is a big mistake. Everybody is needed, but certainly the people who have life experience can pass on and empower the next generation, 2 or 3 that's coming afterward. Really important. Don't make that mistake. Honor the elders in your life, and as you turn into an elder yourself, find the way to give back and empower the people coming after you. Remember, holy people draw everything earthly to themselves because earth is precious to the Creator. So love the commonplace, enhance the ordinary, bring your spiritual vision into the tasks of daily life, chopping wood, carrying water, and so forth. And then remember, the higher you go, the more you come down to earth. Here's a great quote from Fred Astaire: the higher you go up, the more mistakes you're allowed. But right at the top, if you make enough mistakes, then it's considered your style. Great way to spin it, isn't it? Anyway, every problem that we have is an invitation to take a step forward and solve it and grow by solving it instead of wishing that the problems weren't there. It's like there's a part of you that's in a think tank group, and it's only when a problem arises that you really can get that part of you in gear. So don't resist. You have a decision-making faculty that is more than up to the tussle of facing what's going on the material plane. So resecularize everything. Remember the eye on the dollar bill? It's an indication that the great work isn't done. We still have to develop our own intuition as the capstone for everything, which might include seeing how the Buddha is in every computer chip as well. And then ultimately, l'chaim, to life. It's a celebration. We have to bring that upbeat, positive quality to everything we're doing and recognize the importance of community, because no person is an island. We're connected to each other. We should deepen the connection so that it fills us with compassion, friendship, kindness, love, and a vision of making a better world. Go to GabrielHalpern.com, sign up, cherry pick all the free content, let everybody else know about it. Remember, on September 28th, I have an advertisement for Flourish. It's a one-day happening out in Hinsdale. People coming in from California, a great group of people, a lot of healers. I'll be doing storytelling and fairy tales. So check it out, come join us. And we just got our next 6th, 7th sign up for Mexico, 18 spots on site, and then we can help people off, maybe up to 30 people. It's up to you. I'd love to see you join us there. If you have any questions whatsoever, contact me directly. Otherwise, have a great day.